What's up, Full Circle? It's your boy Flash, man.
What's going on, man? Let's go get her, man.
We coming at you with Wealth Wednesday. It's just the last Wednesday of May, man. How you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling like getting into Wealth Wednesday, man. How you feeling?
Come on, yeah, same.
Last Wednesday of May. Let's get into it, man. I hope you guys been paying attention to the markets. If you ain't been paying attention to the markets, at least you've been paying attention to the Discord if you have. But if you're not, this is where you get caught up to date. We still moving up to all-time highs, right? SPY moving up to all-time highs. So the last few days, I've been putting it in the Discord, man. I've been kind of showing where we've been at, and I put my analysis for the possibilities of what could happen Tuesday, when we open up on Tuesday, because we have Memorial Day. So I'm gonna pull the Discord real quick because I put some information in there in the stock market news section, or the stock analysis, one of them. And there's some nice data that I found, right? So the week after Memorial Day has historically always been positive, right? Historically been positive, sorry. The S&P 500 gains an average of 1.25% that week, with the market finishing higher in the 14 of the last 18 years, right? The psychological effect of summer starting brings what analysts call euphoria back into the market, and the broader Memorial Day pattern, the S&P 500 shows little anomalous behavior in those days immediately around Memorial Day, with returns staying near the historical baseline, meaning no unusual volatility or selling pressure, right? So Tuesday, that was just some good information going into Tuesday, right? And you can kind of see that we're on Wednesday. We still got the rest of the week, but we'll see whether or not we finish higher, right? One of the scenarios that I had put out in the Discord on Tuesday was the fact that this is where we closed that last Friday, and one of the scenarios where we break that 748 level and retest it and possibly go higher if we stay above it, which so far we have been staying above it the last 2 days. Or it was a possible rejection from that area, go back to the downside, or you were just going to go to the downside, right? Probably test that area again and maybe make your way a little down, right? But we ended up getting that scenario where, boom, you ended up crossing that 748 resistance level. You're holding above it now. Now that we're holding above it, it's still showing strength from the bullish, right? The people who are putting their orders into the upside. We're holding above that level. So let's see what we do the next couple of days. We got Thursday, we got Friday. Let's see whether or not we come back into that range, right? Or we end up going back up even higher, right? You got something to keep in mind too, is I was looking the other day, I believe you got people with a 770 target, right? Some people were thinking about 770, and I hadn't thought about that. I was listening to CNBC, right? And that's only 3% from where we are now, right? So one good week, one good month, right? One good few weeks, and we get even just a 6% gain. We're now in the 800 mark. We know this is gonna hit 1,000 at some point, even for SPX 500, right? Which is the same thing. You got analysts talking about, where did I have that at? A 9% increase to 82.50 at the end of the year, right? So this is what they're talking about, man. Bullish is in the air, man. And if you want to keep staying updated, man, join us in the Discord. Join us in the Discord, man. You got a company named Micron ended up hitting $1 trillion in market cap today. They ended up going from $92 in December of 2024, something like that. But if you just look at this chart, this is a semiconductor company, right? I'm mentioning these guys because NVIDIA, Micron, AMD, these are the companies that have been running up lately too, the semiconductors, right? So something to keep in mind is that, yes, all the top tech companies that run our world, they're going to continue running our world. But for the people who have been keeping up to date with us in Full Circle Wealth, and if you've been following along, you know a little bit more about the market, you can start looking at other sectors within tech, semiconductors. Get yourselves to understand semiconductors, right? Semiconductors are those chips that make the AI power the way that these companies need it to power, right? And Micron, they're a company just like NVIDIA. that provides semiconductors, and they've been growing and growing, right? So sometimes even looking at the top companies within a certain sector, you can see where those companies are spending money and who's competing with those companies, right? Because if that's a booming sector, the top 3 in that sector usually are good companies, right? So if Nvidia is the big dog, if they hit $1 trillion of market cap, now you have Micron, you have AMD, right? Those are the next to come. And once you understand investing a little bit, you start to see that opportunity, man. So semiconductor space, get in tune with that as well. You know, we'll talk about that more into the Discord. But hey, I've been going on a rabbit hole, man. But you got anything to say, bro?
Nah, man. SPY all time highs. 750, man. Yeah, we moving.
Yeah, there's we could just keep emphasizing the same thing, man. You know, April, May 2026 when we saw that dip, right? For the people who are just now getting into the stock market, for the people who have been watching for a minute and still don't really understand, if you could just understand the fact that you buy the quality companies when it's red and when people are fearful, right? That's not when you sell. When people are talking about the market is crashing and all this stuff, they're just trying to make you panic. All you got to do is stay diligent and trust the economy, trust these companies, because these companies are great companies no matter what. And you buy that dip. When we was talking about a 10% dip from 700 to 629, that's only 10%. That's a correction, right? That's not only, but that was an opportunity where we was emphasizing, hey, for the people who want to get into the stock market, for the people who are looking to start, this is where you want to start, right? Starting up here near all-time highs, right? Yes, we can go rise higher, but it's a little bit more riskier, right? But all you have to do is be prepared for that next pullback, for that next dip, for that next opportunity, and that's when you need to start. That being said, man, we can talk a little bit about crypto, Bitcoin. We can move into that, man.
Let's get into it.
I should have widened out the screen. I didn't even think about that.
I got you. This is the Bitcoin chart, man. It's not looking too much different from what we had last week. I think that we were let me go to the daily. We're already on the daily. Not looking too much different from where we were last week. Right around the same area. Around that 74,000 mark. We're a little bit lower actually than last week. We're still in this range from the higher 82,000s and the lower 62,000 right here. Yeah, we're not looking too different. We do have the Clarity Act being passed. There's a countdown for that. Yeah, I think the date is I forget what day it is in June, but it's coming up pretty soon, man. We got the Clarity Act coming up.
Yeah, I think I've seen like June 14th.
Yeah,
I could be just talking, but
no, it's somewhere around there. Yeah.
But yeah, you could clearly see, for the people who want to understand this chart more, right? Clearly, Bitcoin is in a range, right? If you look at between 82,000 and that 74,000, clearly it's in a range, and usually you want to buy at the bottom of those ranges, right? You want to just be this is how you dissect the market and be able to grasp better prices for long term, for trades, such and such. You put that price in a box, and now you can see it for what it is, and not just one big chart.
Exactly, and that's what we emphasize. If you don't at least analyze and have that technical analysis without you even having to invest, you can kind of see with the way that it's moving where a good buying opportunity would be and where not a good buying opportunity would be. And so I would say that this possibly could be a good buying opportunity, especially because we have regulatory clearance coming through. And so, Bitcoin is the bigger brother of all the cryptos. So when Bitcoin is either moving, fluctuating, there's cryptos that are doing, 20% in a week, right? 5% in a week, maybe even 20% down, 10% in a week. So it all depends on how the market is looking. I'm gonna pull up CoinMarketCap real quick so we can see the overall market and not just Bitcoin. You got anything? Okay, cool. I ain't wanna just open it and you be on some.
Man, chill out, man. That's what y'all be doing.
That's what y'all be on, man. You need to be in these charts.
Stay off them sites. Get on the charts. Come on, man.
All right. For the crypto market, we're up, or we're actually down. Yesterday, when I was recording Tuesday Takedown, we were sitting around 2.53 trillion, and we're even below now. We have lost. If this is the trillions, this is the 100 billions. So we've lost about 3 billion in market cap overnight, pretty much. But yesterday, the altcoin indicator was at 36, I believe. So we up our couple points there. So that means there must be some higher performers in the altcoin sector. See, look, this is what I'm saying. Now, a lot of these other coins don't necessarily move with Bitcoin, but because Bitcoin controls most of the market cap within crypto, those moves for Bitcoin has an impact on these other coins. But as you can see, Near Protocol is up 51% in the last 7 days. So, and it's only $2.50, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I haven't looked too much into Near. I've heard about it multiple times though. I think it's okay. No, this price. Let me go to the candles. Like the candlestick's a little bit better. Yeah, this is a nice chart. Let me see the last week. Oh, see, look at this. This is crazy. But nah, even though Bitcoin has the most the market cap dominance within the crypto space, all of these coins are up 10 plus. The top 15, maybe even the top 20. Just about the top 20 tokens, even Canton's on there. The top 20 tokens for the 7-day percentage are up at least 10%. So yeah, and there's some big names on here. We got Cosmos, we got Stellar, Render, Hyperliquid. Talked about them yesterday. WorldCoin, I've actually never heard of WorldCoin. Not even gonna lie. Let me see what they're talking about. Let me go to the about real quick just to see what's up. It says the mission of WorldCoin project is to build the world's largest identity and financial network as a public entity, giving ownership to everyone. Okay, so this says the world system revolves around World ID, a privacy-preserving global identity network. World ID enables users to verify their humanness online. This is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to touch on that. I'm glad that I found that live. We're gonna talk about that soon. But yes, this is the overall. This is where we are in crypto, man. XRP at $1.32. Solana's under $100. I low-key feel like that's a grab just for the sake of Solana being like $200-300 at a point. What's the high? The high being almost $300 in 2025. So last year it hit $294. So there's definitely potential upside in there. It is a higher risk, or not a higher risk, but the return on your investment won't be as high as if you were to invest into something that was $1. Obviously, it's $83. So, yeah, that is that. We still have the fear indicator sitting in the mid 30s. Yeah, man. We not too much happening in the crypto space. We have a lot more going on within the stocks and things of that nature. So therefore, we're not getting those bigger moves. We could talk about the commodities real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talk about the commodities.
Gold, silver, all that stuff.
Gold is sitting at 4,400. Excuse me. We're also in this range as well. Shout out Fisher Gold Getter because he already got the lines marked out, man. He's already looking at the gold. You see that we're at the bottom of this, kind of at the bottom of this range where we've been multiple times, and it's kind of consolidated around this range, kind of rejected off of it, bounced off of this top range here, sitting at 48, almost 4,900. And yeah, this is where we are. Let me go to the 4 hour and get a little bit of a cleaner chart.
Gold's in a nice range too.
Gold is in a nice range, and this kind of shows you where the market is moving when it comes to commodities. So we go, if we could, so also me and Official Go Getter were talking about this off cam, and just the simple fact that we have all-time highs in SPY, right? In the indices and the indexes, we have our market's hitting all-time highs, but our gold is kind of dipping. You see that these candlesticks, it's a lot of red candlesticks coming to this low down here of 4,095, while we got all-time highs with SPY, right? And that this chart looks completely different. It's a flip chart pretty much. And so what we were saying is, what we were trying to figure out was, if the commodities were down and the indices were up, what does that look like when it's like flipped, right? So let's break that down real quick. You see this, let's see, this is March. No, let's go back from the beginning of the year. Let's go back from the beginning of the year. Where were we? About right here, right around 675, right? And that's January 1st, just to be sure. It says the second on here, 678. All right, cool. Let's go back here, January 1st. You see that, okay, so looking at these charts, we see that gold was on an uptrend, and this wasn't the all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, liar. I thought we had hit higher before. Gold that hit 5,500, right? We go back to SPY. And what day was this? This was January 29th, Thursday. And then we go back to January 29th on Thursday. Let me see. This was about right here. 29th. We had SPY at the top of the range, but immediately after we had this downtrend. So, hey, actually, that thesis was a bit incorrect, because we look here and we had this straight drop down. But if I'm not mistaken, what happened that day? Was that the Venezuelan capture?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what day that was. But I mean, I think the thesis is still intact. I mean, even from the whole months of January and February to March, right? You're getting a run up in gold, but for that whole time in SPY, we're stagnant, right?
Yeah.
And gold was making the biggest movement at the beginning of the year when market wasn't moving at all. Now it's flipped. Market's making the biggest movement now. Gold is consolidating, staying stagnant, just how the market was. So I think the thesis is still intact. And that's something to look at as well. Once you understand to look at these charts better, and you live different, looking at different assets, you get to see, different patterns, right? When gold is down, typically the markets are up. When the stock market is up, typically the commodities are down, right? So for somebody who understands both assets, you may be benefiting from the stock run up, and also buying some more gold to benefit for that run up when people are selling stocks because they're in fear about whatever, because it always happens. The same thing we saw this year, people were scared of the stock market, people saying, oh, we're going to run to the gold, we're going to run to the silver, we're going to run to it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just a rotation. So yes, sir. So that was the commodity market. Something I could also talk about is before, was you going to touch on silver or anything else?
We can look at it real quick.
What is silver at?
Is it in this one?
I think it's in the FCW portfolio. It's right there. Well, it's $74, right?
We are also in this range. The same type of market
range,
movement.
Right? Even Bitcoin, right? You can even Bitcoin's in the range right now. So, they kind of definitely do kind of move the opposite. When one has its moment, the other typically stays stagnant. And that's just the beauty of understanding all assets, because they all work together. They all rotate. They all, have their moment.
Yeah.
So you got silver at $74, man. So anybody looking to get into gold, silver, definitely in the range right now. You can even wait to see if it breaks out and then buy some more if it breaks out to the lower side. But even if you wanted to get in now, I believe getting some into the range, because you don't know if it's going to break out to the upside towards 89 to 100, 121 again, or if you don't know if it's going to go to the downside. But, be prepared for both. And yeah, just tune in every week. We're going to tell you what the price is, man. Something else I want to talk about too is, I kind of touched on this in the Discord, man. Go into the Discord. I'm there. We're both there every day, every week, putting in stuff. Flash just yesterday dropped the Tuesday takedown. breaking down the crypto, right? I dropped the Monday Madness, breaking down the stocks. I broke this down on the Monday Madness, man. Nvidia is sitting in this range, it's kind of breaking out to the downside, right? Let's see going on the 4-hour time frame. We broke out of this range, right? When you break out to the downside of a range, you want to see a retest. See, boom. If anybody was trading this morning, perfect. This is a perfect executing trade, right? Today's Tuesday. Okay, this happened yesterday. So Tuesday, right? We ended up breaking down this range, right? And we ended up breaking out of this range of 214. That's breaking support, but then we retested it, but we didn't have that move. We closed at 214. We didn't go back into the range. We're literally testing it today, right? So then you open it up to Wednesday morning, you get that rejection, right? So people could have either waited until market open, or maybe they had orders in overnight when they seen that. But that's a perfect example of a break from a range, a retest, and that's your confirmation, especially if you get that, you see that energy to the downside. If you're on the 15 or 5-minute time frame and you're watching early in the morning at 6:35 in the morning, you get to see, oh, okay, boom, it's going down to the downside. Let me hop in my trade, go from 213 down to 210, 208. Okay, boom. And now it's making its way back up to 214. Let's see if it tests that again. Does it hold below? You always want to see, does it hold below, or does it go back into the range and make it way back up? Make it way back up, my bad. Because, sometimes stuff like this may be a fake breakout or a liquidity sweep to grab the people who had buy orders in already, right? Come grab them, stop them out, move back up to the upside, because now they're stopped out and they think that, they think whatever they think. So look, that's a perfect candle right there.
Yeah.
Grab them, come back up. So let's see where we close at today. It's 10 a.m. Let's see if we end up closing green and reversing back up. That's a sweep, man. Something else that I could touch on too, SPY. I put this in the Discord as well. So doing this technical analysis, this is why we do it, man. You get to see exactly what's going on in the market. So from May to July, the last 3 years, we've gone up a minimum of 15% each year. So May of 2025, we end up going from 513 to 642, right? And that happened in August, right? We ended up keep running up. We had a little moment of a pullback in August, but then we kept running up. But that's 25% for those months. May to July of 2024, right? You got this May to, what's this? That's February. But if we go from May to July, you get a 15%, right? And then you get a dip in that July, right? In the middle of July, you get a dip. But then at the beginning of August, you end up running up. So you get that small dip in August, July. In May, you started at 483, but then you kept running up after that small dip to the time you get to February 2025. That's 25%. So that's July 2024. And then you got 23 May to July, right? You go from the price of 382 to 443, right? Then you get a small, you get not a small dip, you get a dip from July to October, but then when October comes around, you run them from 397 to 516. We also emphasize buying that dip and just buying these companies in general, because, obviously you can see when they take off, when it takes off, it takes off. Like, we might not ever get to these prices again. More than likely not ever going to get to these prices again. And then same thing for 2026. 2027, we might get back down to 2026 prices, right? We might, right? But if we end up hitting that 800, 850, we end up might just coming back down to only 750, 716. Now you're priced out. You can't get it back down here. Then it keeps running up. So get in now, because it's only going to go up. If you already feel like it's too late, that's the wrong mindset to have, because by the time we're in the next 10 years, these prices are going to be way more than they already are. for crypto and for the stocks.
Yeah, that big break has only happened with a few set of cryptos as well. So when that move comes, it's a big move for the entire market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. So hey, look, make that consistent buying routine. Take that paycheck. Take whatever money you're getting. Make a consistent routine into buying some crypto. Look into this crypto analysis section, the crypto 101 section, crypto news section, the video section. Make a plan to buy VTI, VOO, the S&P 500. Get you one of these top tech companies, Nvidia, Meta, Google. You're already using it. If you're using Amazon a lot, you know, like my auntie, she uses Amazon a lot. Auntie, go get you some stock. You know what I'm saying? Amazon about to hit $300. You know what I'm saying? It's in this range right now. You already spent however much this month, you know, not talking specifically to you, auntie, my bad if you're watching this, but whoever, you already spent however much with whatever brand that month, Apple, Amazon. You're giving T-Mobile that phone payment every month. You might as well spend that money with Apple. You know what I'm saying? Make a plan to invest into Apple. You're a gamer. You game on NVIDIA platform. You like NVIDIA. They got the best chips. They got the best everything. Invest into NVIDIA, man. Google, right? You love Google. You use it for everything. Invest into these companies, man. And if you want to learn how to invest the best way, looking at the chart, looking for the best opportunities, just come with us in Full Circle Wealth, man. We're live every day for free in the general chat, man, just for you guys. So with that being said, I'm ready to move away from the charts unless you got something you want to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I got, I'm going to bring it up real quick. So this morning while I was reading a page out of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that's a great book if you want to get started on your self-improvement journey. Page 169, it asked me something, man. And I still don't even know the answer all the way, but maybe we can find it right now. But I wanted to ask you guys too. There's 2 questions. What one thing could you do, something that you are not doing now, that if you did on a regular basis will make a tremendous positive difference on my personal life? I'll say it one more time for the people. You got to write this down, man. What one thing could you do, something that you are not doing now, that if you did on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive difference on my personal life? And I had to think about that, man. You know, you got an answer off the top of your head?
I feel like to really break down that question, there's a lot of things that a person has to dissect about themselves in order to figure out what they want to grow in the most that they're not doing the most, right? So say somebody that's not journaling, right? They want to track their spending or whatever the case may be. They could be like, you know, I want to get in a book. You know what I'm saying? So not talking about anybody else. What?
What you said?
Yeah.
That's good information for sure. You gotta dissect whatever it is that you want to achieve before you ask yourself that question and dig deep.
Yeah, for sure.
You're gonna find that answer there. So
because you can go from like a really simple answer to something that's a lot more complex and really getting to the bottom and the base of who you are as a person. So like, I think that you could really come. I think personally, what am I doing? What could I do that I'm not doing that will affect the trajectory?
You know, honestly, me personally, what one thing could you do, something that you are not doing now, that if you did on a regular basis? If I on a regular basis truly, because I opened this book today.
Yeah.
If I on a regular basis truly would open a page of them books and really read them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really dissected them. Not because May we had, I did, well, not May, January, February, I was on that roll, but then I ended up falling off with intentionally reading. So I got 2 books down this year, but after those 2 books, I ended up kind of coasting in that lane, right? So honestly, I think for me, I think reading regularly and making it a real habit is something for me. You know, that would help me even business, professionally, in my personal life. It would make a positive difference because without those 2 pages, it was 1 page.
Oh, you're at the beginning?
No, I'm not at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People before, but I was younger, right? And I've been a firm believer this year as well, because even though I know I need to read more, I haven't bought any new books because I'm like, there's some books in there that I need to reread or I haven't started yet that I already have.
Yeah, that's
right?
fair.
So with that being said, I just opened up a random page, because sometimes I'll do that, but I don't do that on a regular basis. Just like the question is saying, I picked up the book, opened the random page 169. These two questions came at me, and yeah. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna answer that too.
Yeah, go
I
ahead,
think
man.
one thing that I could do really is plan ahead. That's what I could really work on to change the trajectory every day. If I planned ahead and seen like today or yesterday, I know exactly what I was gonna do today from the moment that I woke up to the moment that the day ended. Like my whole day is planned out, and so I have a lot more energy into doing the things that I wanted to do simply because I had already had it planned out prior, right? So full circle moment, it worked today. Now, if I were to put that in perspective and into my life, daily life, actually, where I'm planning out the day and having multiple things to do and keep me occupied, I think that'll definitely benefit crazy amount because I can put more focus into the moment because it's already structured in my mind about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So whether that be content curation, whether that be, you know what I'm saying, spending time with the fam, all of it is actually tomorrow's also already planned too. Everything that I've figured out. So I kind of did that this week actually without even realizing.
Exactly. And you know, I kind of even earlier this week, I got this book named Propaganda that I've been reading too. I've been taking it to the job. I'll be opening it up, but it all comes down to what it said. Like that was, I'm glad that regular basis, you know, because what you said, you know, I'm sure that you feel like you said, you feel a clearer mind, you feel more strategized, more on top of everything with the whole day planned out.
Yeah,
correct?
100%. Yeah.
And you know, I think I feel just more fresh and more sharpened when I'm incorporating the habit consistently of picking up that book.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
full circle wealth, right here, live in the motion. Live in the motion. So ask yourself that question, man. You know, the second part of the question is what one thing in your business or professional life will bring similar results, and it's the same thing, really. You know, for me personally, I think that even if I just not only boil it down to reading, but you know, and I've been doing better with this lately, but going to seek out more information, right? So now I've gathered a lot of information and executed on it now, but now there's that next step,
right?
You know, so now I have to be okay with seeking out more information. And I think something I want to tell you guys is that a smart person, the more you know, the more you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So you always have to, you know, kind of sharpen your ego, get in control of your ego, you know, because as a human, you might want to be a know-it-all. You might just want to be in your own lane and not want to listen to anything new because that's just who we are. But hey, break out of that, man. You know, so I'm going to be more diligent and be consistent with seeking out that new information and picking up that book, because seeking out new information isn't always the easiest thing, because you're challenging the current version of you.
Right. And yeah,
that's it.
Touching on that, I think the best way to challenge that version is doing what you said, but adding on to that, asking the right questions. You know what I'm saying? Because putting yourself in the shoes of the unknowing, you know that you know these things, but you know that there's so much more to learn. With that being said, in order for you to obtain that knowledge, you have to ask the right questions also to the right people. So when it comes to what you're getting, what you want to get, instead of going into something like, damn, I'm trying to figure this out, it's more like, how can I figure this out? And not, because you got to kind of just switch that mindset of not be like, damn, I don't know, to how can I know? Who can I ask? Because they may have expertise, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But asking those right questions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that. We can keep going, man, because, you know, shifting, as cliche as it sounds, everything that we done built now, it all started with a mindset shift. Really believing that we can. Not saying I can, but I will. Not saying I can't, but I can. Not saying I won't, but I will. Right? Those type of things. Right? Going through like literally what Flash just said. We hit a roadblock. Instead of going, dang, you know, looking at the negative side, you're looking at, okay, how can I get past this roadblock? Obviously, this is strengthening me. What's the next step for me to get past this roadblock, right? Asking the right questions, right? Speaking to yourself in the right type of way, because your brain doesn't know the difference, right? You know, I made a video about that. You know, you got the conscious, then you got the subconscious. That subconscious, that's what's taking in everything, right? That's the part that's operating in the background that we don't even know. And you got to train that subconscious, right? This is a result of us training that subconscious, because we used to just be on the other side. I remember looking at this chart. Boy, I remember looking at this chart like it was an algebra class. I didn't grow up good at math, man. So you know what it's like to look at some numbers and just your head is hurting. You know, you get tense. You wanna shut the computer off. I remember looking at the chart like that, man. And you know, it came with opening it up every day and trying, because I'm telling myself, man, I know it's on the other side. You know, I know if I be consistent, by the end of next year, I'll know more than I do now. So, you know, matter of fact, what were some things on the beginning of your journey that you said to yourself, you know, to help you get
here? Well, real quick before I answer that, you see, full circle moment, because you was already like, damn, but instead, how can I get better at this? You knew you foresaw the future, and was like, I know that I'm gonna be good at this shit. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's no way that if I come on now. So full circle moment, man.
That's another thing too. Visualizing. I'm just gonna say that. Visualize it. See it. Okay, go ahead.
Got to, cause my fault. Ask the question one more time.
Yeah. So at the beginning of your journey, you know, getting to exactly who you are now, sitting up here, you know, what are some things that you told yourself when you felt like you couldn't, or when you was doubtful?
What I really told myself, man, real life, was the fact that personally, I like to do things differently. I don't like to do the things by the norm or by the book, right? I'm always, even if there is a rule book, I'm going to figure out a way to work within those rules to figure out how I can do it the best way of my liking. So, for that being said, there is so much to learn when it comes to learning the charts and how trying to understand. And what I told myself was not only that I could do it and I could see it, but I had that motivation from, like, I had a real fire that lit inside of me. First of all, when I met you, when we was talking about the charts, that fire that I had when I wanted to learn, you kind of gave me that pause.
What the?
Wait.
What is the pause?
Matter of fact, I was what I thought was crazy. But nah. You put more wood into the pit of fire that already was inside that I needed it. So that fire grew. Pause. That was crazy.
I don't know what you was about to say.
Full circle wealth. Bro.
I hear you though, man.
But you put liquid. That's crazy. What is that? Exactly.
What is that?
For the grill. The shit on the grill that you to make the fire spark. Bro gave me that. And I was like, yes, on top of the fire that I already had. What I was telling myself was that, bro, if this guy can do it, bro, and I don't know this dude, bro, and he's telling me that I can do it, bro, I gotta be able to do it. So that motivated me as well to get it done. Yeah. Lighter fluid.
No, I ain't lighter fluid. Now keep going though. Don't finish your thought.
Yeah. Now not only seeing bro do it, but the simple fact that I'm already seeing other people do it. And so I wanted to do something that wasn't fully I wanted to do something that wasn't the norm. Like, I didn't know too many traders. I had heard about Aristotle, you know what I'm saying? But that was really the only person that I had seen of color that was really going hard when it came to, you know, like learning how to trade in just the overall market. So like when it came to running our business, right? It was just like another obstacle that I was able to work within, you know what I'm saying? And not like go around or go over, but work with, because I knew that I could be so much greater than my environment. So that mindset shift, like we keep talking about this mindset shift, it was all based on the fact that I wasn't seeing anybody that I knew personally do this type of thing. So this is like right in my lane ultimately. So, like, bro, you got this only because who you know, and you kind of have your back against the wall when you're in those type of situations. Like, am I going to fold or am I going, you know what I'm saying? Am I going to fight? You know what I'm saying? Step up. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's you don't get no better than that, man. You had just said.
I said a lot.
No, but you had just said something that forgot what part it was. But look, man, you guys got it, man. Something that I did on my journey as well before we close out. I'll just answer it real quick at the beginning is like he's foreseeing the future. Like who you are now is not who you're gonna be in the next 5 years. I always had this thing. I always told myself, I'm like, if 5 years go by and you're doing the right things, there's no way you don't make progress. You just progress in general. Along that time, you'll start to sharpen everything and to make your progress more concrete, so you can actually know where you're going. But if you just start now and be consistent, in the next 5 years, you'll be way further ahead on your journey than not. Because the longer you wait, I remember being 18. I remember when I think I wanted to be a content, but I wanted to be a content creator. I knew at some point I was going to make some content. I used to always tell myself, I'm going to wait till like I'm 25 and we already made it. I'm going to wait till we get the riches and I already did this behind the scenes, right? But then I think at some point I was like 18, about to be 19 or something like that. And I was like, if I don't start now at 19 and make a first video, that means by 20 something, I'll just be now starting. And I was like, I might as well just start now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Might as well just start now getting behind the camera. Like I got videos on YouTube that I ain't even post just for practice. Saying that to say for you guys, man, just start now. Because if you don't, because it already takes a minute to start, but then it takes a minute for you to be good at something. Okay, start, consistency, then you got to be able to be good. It already takes you some time to be consistent. It takes you some time to start. The more you get to, just make that as quick as possible, is the quicker you get to the other side. But if you spend 3 months starting, then 5 months trying to be consistent, then you got probably like, if you've been consistent, like 3 more months before you even get good. And then that's a whole year gone by.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You know what I'm saying? And now that's progress though. But if 100%. you would have just sat here and like, dang, I'm about to wait till I get some money to buy that camera. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna start. 6 months that went by, you ain't did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. So with us being, so shout out to us, man. We took advantage of the last year, and we sacrificed last year doing everything behind the scenes with Full Circle Wealth when people didn't notice us, to now this year noticing us. If we would have started this year, last year would be this year.
Exactly.
Next year would be this year.
Yep.
Like, and then, so just start. That's it.
Yeah, and don't care either. A lot of people don't care that you are starting. You got to be the only person that really cares about your foundation, because, you know what I'm saying, if it comes to a point where you're trying to tell somebody what you do, they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then the conversation continues, right? So you got to have that faith within yourself, like we have in ourselves and in our brand. So not comparing our faith to yours, but find your faith and your courage to get it done, because without it, it's 10 times harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For my people who believe in God too, you just mentioned faith. If you believe in God, but you can't trust God to get you to where you want to go on your journey, and you putting in the work, I ain't finna say you don't believe, but you ain't believing at the full capacity that you could. You gotta execute off that belief, man.
Have to. You
can't say you a believer and not trust the person you believe in, trust the entity you believe in, trust the God you believe in. And that comes with putting in that work. That faith comes with, man, we about to embark on this journey. We don't know where it goes, but we know God's gonna get us to where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
So with that being said, man, it's Full Circle Wealth. We appreciate you guys joining the journey. I'm about to close out unless you got any announcements.
Now, I want to say one more thing, too. Another thing that kept me motivated, bro, I'm at security. And I'm seeing, like, 40. I'm 19. You feel me? 18, 19. I'm seeing 40-year-olds. I'm seeing 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds that are working the same job as me. We make the same amount of money, and they probably got kids, wives, husbands, family, people to take care of. And I'm living at the mom. I'm on my mom's crib. You feel me? And I'm making the same money as a 40, 30-year-old. That also put me in a position like, damn, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, that changed my whole mind too, man. I had this. Yeah, bro. I remember my first warehouse job. The dude looked at me. He said, "Oh, you're 18." They're like, "Oh, he's 18." He's like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "You stay here for 20 years, you get your first house, you'll be set." And I obviously they come from two different eras. You come from a whole different era. He's looking at success in the way that he sees it,
like the American dream type.
Yeah. And they come from an era where that's all that was possible in their mind. This is 2020. 6 about to be 2027. No matter what age you are, you got to be thinking outside the corporation, outside that plantation, that job. You got to be thinking bigger because the tools are out there, the resources are out there, and we're just trying to help you get started.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's it. Especially for, if you 18, 19, quit doing that. Man, get that BS out your system where you focus on the BS, you focus on chasing after the indulgence, all that. Get that as out of your system as quick as you can. Have some fun, but get it out of your system as quick as you can.
Yeah.
And get right for real. We're here for you guys for real. You know what I'm saying? If I could go back and tell my 18, 19, year old self, obviously you're gonna bump your head a little bit. Get that shit out as quick as you can. You know what I'm saying? And get back on the track.
That doesn't mean go make mistakes, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to have your head screwed on. But make sure that you have that fun, quote unquote, because when it's time to buckle in, you want to have that right type of mindset for you to be able to lock in. Like, I can't tell you to go do something that is out of your league that you're not used to if you don't have the mindset shit that you need in order to go do such tasks, right? You got to be able to withstand that, right? You got to be able to lock in, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you do, because the longer you're on the other side, the harder it is for you to get back on this side.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
too hard.
Because you still fighting habits from the times where we picked up bad habits. You got to fight that shit.
Yeah.
That takes years. So be conscious of the things that you're doing now, because these are things that you're going to have to deal with in the next 3 years, right? That your 22, 24-year-old version is going to deal with. So by the time, for the people who want riches at a young age, it starts from putting that work in from 20, 22 to 25 to 26. If you want to have some money by 27, you got to have started by 21, 22, 23,
Have to.
So the quicker you get your mindset on it, the quicker you get it, man. And that's that, man.
Yeah. This is full circle wealth, man. This is a great Wednesday. This is the last Wednesday of May. I'm glad that we ended it off on this note. You know what I'm saying? Kicking off June with a banger, man. We're gonna get it cracking when it comes to June. We just like full circle wealth. I mean, Official Go Getter just said, we're gonna have that run up, man. We already seen from May to June how that looks, man. We're gonna see what that's looking like, man. Take advantage of all your opportunities, and Full Circle Wealth could be your opportunity. It is your opportunity, man. There ain't a lot of young cats doing this at all. There's a lot of older people doing it, right? But that just shows the growth for us, too. Invest in yourself. Yeah, this is Full Circle Wealth, man. We in the Discord every single day. Tune in, at least for an hour. Tune in. We dropping new gems every week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We in the Discord. We're dropping content. This is what we do. This is what we're doing. You know where you can find us. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Discord. We there, man. Take advantage of your opportunities.
All right, man. See you guys next week.
Yeah. I got it. Bet.